Welcome back guys, this is Ashwin here. In this video we are going to solve the problem sum versus XOR. Given an integer n, find each x such that x in the range of 0 to n, and we have a formula n plus x equals n XOR x, where XOR denotes the bitwise XOR operation. Return the number of x's satisfies the criteria. So this is the criteria. XOR operation is almost similar to the sum operation, but the only difference is when both the numbers are same, it will result 0. So that's the only difference if you observe it in the bitwise manner. So we have an example here. So n equals 4. There are 4 values that meet the criteria. So here they are adding 4 plus 0, 4 plus 1, 2, 3, and we are having these results. And the same operation we are using XOR. So 4 XOR 0, that is also 4, and similarly we have doing it for all the other operations, and we are satisfying this criteria that we have mentioned here. So the total result is 4, that is the number of values that satisfies the criteria. For this example it is 4. So that's how we have to validate this problem. Here also we can't able to go through all the integers, that's from x to n, so that's like a long range. Even if you see the constraints, n can go up to 10 to the power of 15, so that is a pretty big number. And for the subtask, that is n can go up to 100. So this is a brute force approach. If you applied brute force means you can able to achieve at least 60% of the maximum score, but we have to solve the whole problem that satisfies this constraint also. So we have to find a optimal one by finding some kind of pattern. So here we have sample input 5 and the result is 2. So only 2 values are satisfying the criteria. And here the input is 10 and the result is 4. Here also we are satisfying the same criteria, only 4 values are satisfying. So here also you can able to see all the results are in powers of 2. So here it is 2 power 2, this is 2 power 1, and everything is there. Even for some other numbers it will be the same number, like instead of 10 plus 0, let's say some x number plus 0, it will always be 1, at least one number will be there. 1, 2, 4, all in terms of powers of, all are in powers of 2. So that is one pattern we are having. And also based on this examples, maybe we can get some. So let's go for this example. So I'll be mentioning this here. So the input is 4. I'm converting into the binary format. So 1 0 0, the result is 4. So here we have 2 zeros, right? So if you have 2 power 2, that is 4. So the result is 4. You can mention it as like this. So this is for one input. Next is 5. So 5 equals 1 0 1. Here only 1 0 is there. So 2 power 1. So it will be 2. The result is 2. And again we have 10. So 10. What is the binary value of 10? 1 0 1 0. So this is the binary value. We have again 2 zeros. So 2 power 2 equals 4. So this is the result we are getting, and all the results are satisfying the sample output also. So we have observed some pattern. So before this I have tried other approaches also in order to find this pattern. I actually gone for the brute force approach and use some custom test cases to get this logic. So if you have some kind of logic that you have to verify means, you can always go for a brute force approach with some custom example, and you can able to validate your logic. If you have logic, validate with custom test case. So that's how I figured out this. We just have to count the number of zeros. Based on the number of zeros we can able to figure out the result. That's how we are going to solve this problem. So let's go for the logic. Initially result equals 1. I already told you for every number there will be at least one value that satisfies the criteria with 0, and after that we'll be using the n. So while n until n reaches 0, we're going to go in a bitwise manner. So I'm going to take the last bit and see whether it is 0 or not. So we have n here. What I'm going to do is I will take the bit equals n and 1. So this is a bit manipulation problem. That's why I'm using bitwise operations pretty much everywhere. So I'm just checking whether the n is odd or even. So check if odd or even. If it's odd, if it's odd, the last bit will be 1. If it's even, the last bit will be 0. So that's how we are going for the logic, and after that we have to divide it by 2. So for that I'm going to use right shift. I will also mention divide by 2. So this is done, and after that we have to check for the set bit. If b equals 1, I'll say result multiplies equals 2. I already mentioned it's in increasing in powers of 2. You can also just initialize result with 0 and increment it by 1 here, and finally while returning you can have this 2 power result. Like that you can also have your logic. I'm just going like this, and after that we can return result. When n reaches 0, it will be out of the loop, and after that we will be returning the result. Let me check once whether it is working or not. Last time this bit operation, I think it didn't work. Okay, it's showing sample test case is wrong. The output is 4 I have printed, and it is 2 here. Maybe I'll just print this b once to see whether I am doing it some wrong. Okay, 101. That is 5, right? Yeah. Okay, I have to check for only 0. Okay, it is working fine. Then yeah, we just have to count for zeros, right? I just counted for 1. That's why the problem occurs. Let's run the code once. Now it passed all the sample test case. Let's submit it. Yeah, we have solved the problem. The problem seems like a pretty messier problem. If you go for a standard approach, you will definitely exceed the time limit. That's why they have mentioned it as a subtask. You obviously have to figure out some kind of pattern and do it in a simpler manner. So if you use this logic, means the time complexity will be log n, because each time we are dividing the input by 2. So that's how the whole logic works. And apart from that, you can also refer some bitwise operation principles. There will be some formulas or proofs will be there, some kind of theorems. You can able to see that and apply it using the program. So it will be much easier for you to figure out the logics. Even for XOR operation, you also know it's like a XOR a is 0. Like that, some kind of theorems will be there. You can able to find out and you can able to apply that logic for the programming. So that's a small tip you can able to use. And yeah, that's it guys. I think we have solved the whole thing with a simple logic. Stay tuned for the next video.